Ajoke stood nervous in front of the gate of Ile-Ife Gbadebo Comprehensive School, her heart pounding with uncertainty. Her old school was now just a memory, and this new chapter seemed like a mountain she wasn't ready to climb. The school was bigger than her last school, and the old place felt overwhelming. It was her first day, and thought, she told herself, she would blend in quietly. She couldn't help but feel the weight of being the new girl. Her family had moved to Ile-Ife after her father's promotion, and transferring school in the middle of the term felt like she was stepping into a world that has already started without her. Everything here seemed so polished. Students walked in groups, laughing loudly, completely unaware of Ajoke's arrival. Taking a deep breath, she straightened her uniform and walked through the school gates. She hoped no one would notice her, but that was impossible. By lunchtime, she already caught the attention of the most popular girl in school, Bimpe. Bimpe was the queen bee of Ile-Ife Gbadebo Comprehensive School. Everyone wanted to be her friend, or at least be on her good side. She had that air of confidence that make others either admire her or fear her. With her perfect braids and sharp tongue, Bimpe rules the school effortlessly. It wasn't long before Bimpe noticed Ajoke sitting alone during lunch. "New girl, huh?" Bimpe said, sliding onto the bench beside her with a practiced smile. "What is your name?" Ajoke replied quietly. Bimpe said, "Well, Ajoke, consider yourself lucky. I don't usually talk to new people, but you seem different." Bimpe's eyes sparkled, but there was something uncertain behind them. Ajoke felt her nerves loosen. Maybe, just maybe, this wouldn't be so bad after all. She smiled cautiously, grateful that somebody has finally spoken to her. Bimpe's charms was hard to resist, and soon enough, Ajoke found herself spending more time with her. Over the next few days, Bimpe took Ajoke under her wings. The girls who followed Bimpe around like shadows began to include her in their conversation, and Ajoke, who had dreaded feeling like an outsider, was suddenly being invited into the inner circle. She felt relieved and happy to be making friends so quickly. But as time passed, she started noticing small things. Bimpe wasn't just popular, she was being controlling. The girls around her seemed scared to disagree with her. If someone wore the wrong outfit or said something she didn't like, Bimpe would tear them down with sarcastic comments, maxing cruelty as humor. Ajoke thought she was different though. She was careful to stay on Bimpe's good side, not wanting to rule her newfound place in the group. The real trouble began one Monday morning during math class. Mr. Johnson, the math teacher, was strict but fair. Everyone knew you couldn't get away with slacking in his class. That day, the class was taking an important test. Ajoke sat nervously, biting her lips as Mr. Johnson handed out the papers. Halfway through the test, Bimpe suddenly raised her hand, her voice loud and clear. "Sir, my maset is missing." Mr. Johnson looked up sharply. "Who has it?" "I don't know," Bimpe said, glancing around the room, "but I saw Ajoke with it earlier." Ajoke's heart dropped. What? She hadn't touched anyone's maset. Panic surged through as Mr. Johnson walked over her desk. "Empty your bag, Ajoke," he said firmly. With trembling hands, Ajoke opened her bag, praying the set wasn't there. But to her horror, when she pulled out her things, there it was, Bimpe's maset, sitting innocently at the bottom. Gasps filled the room. Ajoke could barely breathe as Mr. Johnson shook his head. Disappointed, stealing, "I didn't expect this from you, Ajoke." She opened her mouth to protest, but no word came out. How had it gotten there? She looked over at Bimpe, who gave her a concerned look as if she couldn't believe it either. But deep down, Ajoke knew the truth. Bimpe had set her up. Before the market incident, Bimpe started feeling threatened by Ajoke. When Ajoke first joined the school, she seemed quiet, always following Bimpe's lead and listening to her. Bimpe liked being in control, the one everybody listened to. But soon, she noticed that Ajoke was changing. Ajoke began to focus more in her studies and making new friends. She wasn't hanging around with Bimpe as much, as she didn't always follow Bimpe's instruction like before. Sometimes, Ajoke would even question Bimpe's bossy behavior, something nobody's dared to do. This shift made Bimpe feel uneasy. She wasn't used to anyone standing up to her, and it felt like Ajoke was trying to break away from her influence. Bimpe couldn't handle the idea of losing control and having someone challenge her place as the leader of the group. In her mind, Ajoke was starting to become a problem, someone who needs to be put in her place. Bimpe knew that she had to do something to remind Ajoke and everyone else who was really in charge. The whole class went silent. Eyes darted from Ajoke to the mat set in the bag and back again. Mr. Johnson sighed. His face hard as stone. Ajoke, you know stealing is a serious offense. This matter will be reported to the principal. Ajoke's heart pounded like a drum. She wanted to shout that she was innocent, that this was all a set-up, but the words were stuck in her throat. Her hand trembled as she looked around, feeling the weight of everyone's judgment. Just as she was about to follow Mr. Johnson out, she realized that this was only the beginning of her trouble. Was this how everything would end for her at Ile-Ife Gbadebo School? Would the principal believe her? And what would her parents say? Her mind raced with worries. She knew one thing for sure, Bimpe wasn't done with her yet. Dear viewers, what do you think will happen to Ajoke now? Will she find a way out of this trouble? Or this is just the beginning? To find out what happens next, make sure you hit on the subscribe button and like this video for part 2. And trust me, you do not want to miss the twist waiting for Ajoke. Bye bye.